All right. Today, Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. Oh, yeah. 1950 is the publication date. It's another dystopia book. Everything's going wrong, but this one has a central theme of
books.
Education.
Yes.
Classic.
They burn all the books.
All right, give us a plot recap there.
So this guy, the main character, I don't remember what his name is.
You can look that up. Keep going.
He's a fireman, but he doesn't put out fires. He makes fires.
Montag?
Yes.
Excellent.
So like they get reports of people who have books in their house, and they go and they pretty much just burn their house down to get rid of the books. Or sometimes they'll just take all the books out and then have a book burning in the street, right?
So there's no criteria. It's just any book.
Yes.
Of any kind.
Yes.
You can't own any books.
Yes. They
Okay.
just burn them.
Okay.
And they like have these big TVs on their walls, but it's like their whole wall is a TV on like every single wall in their house, and it's like the big deal, and you talk to the relatives. I don't really know what it means. It's just like his wife is always in there talking to the relatives or something. It's kind of weird. And then...
Is it kind of like Facebook?
I don't know.
What about those people that are on Facebook? 3, 4, 5
Or
hours a
YouTube,
day?
or Instagram,
Well,
or Twitter.
they have pseudo relationships, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So do they know those people really well?
Well, some of them they do.
Yeah, but a lot of them they don't. I mean, do you really have 350 close friends? No. No.
I have like 4.
So it's kind of like so it's talking to the relatives. It's like a relationship, but it's not really a relationship.
I guess, but they're always yelling at each other.
The husband and wife?
No, the relatives.
Oh yeah. Classic. Look for those symbols. Okay, so he and his wife.
Is this my copy?
Yeah. He and his wife don't have a super great relationship.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. Do you remember why that is?
I think it's because it was kind of like an arranged marriage or something, right?
No.
No, just kidding. I don't remember.
No, what happened? It gets worse throughout the book.
Oh yeah, because he wants to like read books and stuff, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
And so she ends up just leaving him, right?
Yeah. She doesn't want. So he goes to this book burning.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to burn this house. And I can't remember the details of why he's drawn to this one specific book. You remember that? And he like wants...
Isn't it the Bible?
No.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think so.
He gets a hold of the Bible, I think.
Yeah, well he starts collecting them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because his curiosity overtakes
But
him.
it's that girl that... Remember? And then she ends up disappearing because she has books, like the girl at the beginning of the book.
Yes.
And because of that, it's like a book she talked about or something like that. So
Yeah.
he's really interested in this one book because she ends up like dying.
So he starts stashing them in his house.
Yeah, and then she finds out, right? His wife.
Yeah. And there's this big blow up because he wants to see what's in books, and then it starts to change him. And then he starts to see how valuable they are, and then he starts to reanalyze his whole existence, like the whole society, who he is as a fireman, what he's doing with his life, where his life is headed, and then the whole end chase happens. And it's really kind of interesting to see, what do you do when they try to, the end of the book is about trying to preserve the books. And we won't give that away, but that's kind of interesting how they're trying to preserve the books because they can't physically have them. But there's some really great messages about, and of course, this is 1950. We're coming off World War II again. This is a reaction to totalitarianism. And of course, when you look at communistic and totalitarian governmental forms and societies, you find book burning is a very common practice. Now, usually they'll target certain books and they'll promote certain books. And this is a very important theme to think about with this book and with which virtually all you're reading is, in every society, there are some books that are important, and there are some books that are ignored, and there are some books that are said to not be okay. I was just reading this great article. In fact, I'm going to blog about it soon and give the resource on it because it's so valuable. But it was this expert talking about young adult literature, and she was talking about how there's certain young adult literature that's really, really dangerous, that's being published more and more, and young adults read it and assume that it has the stamp of approval of the adult world because adults are publishing it.
Like what?
Oh, like she was referencing a whole bunch of horrible books. And so, I'll give you the article. Anyway, it's really, really worth reading. I'll blog on it soon. But anyway, so the message here with Ray Bradbury, with 1984, I mean, remember in 1984, it's a book. He gets the book.
Oh yeah,
it's the
true.
book that gives him the history of what it is. You know, the Bible means the book. And it is, you know, it is the way that societies pass on knowledge and information. With Mount, I've mentioned this before, there was the little red book, and you were required to have it. Youth were required to memorize sections of it. It was Mao's writings and teachings because they wanted certain kinds of people in their society, and so they had to read certain kinds of things.
And also, like, whenever you don't have books or don't have writing, then your society usually goes backwards soon and doesn't, you know.
That is a great point. Yep. So illiteracy prevails, you lose your middle class, and no society has usually ever banned reading and writing entirely because they would lose their whole economic undergirding. But they, you know, there was a lot of book burning. You read The Book Thief and loved it, and that was kind of a theme. And many of these,
they would have book burnings.
Yeah, it's really fascinating what a common theme it is. Actually, it would be fun to actually do a reading program on books that are about books and that are about book burning and that are about books in society. There's a common, I read it again the other day, and I don't know if we even know who I'm not sure who we give credit to, but, you know, all that a society, this one I think specifically was probably Hutchins, but he was saying all you need to do in a society in order to lose he was talking about the Western tradition of the great books, in order to forget who you are is just to ignore the great books. That's all you need to do is just ignore them. And of course they've been pushed entirely out of our educational programs, and that's a whole other blog post for another day. But the point about this book is it's a great young adult introduction. It's pretty clean. I don't remember anything really controversial in it, offensive in it. So it's nice.
It wasn't like 1984, because I read this one and I really liked it, and then 1984 I was kind of shocked a couple of times because I was like, oh, what is it?
I geared her up for that, and I warned you about that on the blog post, just so you know. But the point is, this is valuable, and it's valuable as a catalyst for a discussion about many of the things that we've been talking about. What books are important? What books are your core books? What books would you take with you on a desert island? Why do societies burn books? Why do they promote certain books? Why do we have textbooks in the schools, and what do those textbooks include, and what do they leave out, and why do they put things in, and why do they leave things out? And what would happen to a society if that wasn't reading? And do we have a society that's not reading? And all kinds of wonderful discussion points. There's also some symbols that you can look for about light and burning and fire and truth and what those things mean, and then you can look forward to the end for how he escapes and where he gets to and what people are doing to try to resolve this problem for future generations. It's really kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird and like, I don't think that would ever happen, but whatever.
So why did you like it?
I liked that, I don't really exactly remember what exactly I liked about it. I liked the way it was written. I liked what it was about and how, like, it progressed with, like, his knowledge of things. Like, you could feel like he was, like, learning more and more, and then, like, I don't know, I like that kind of thing where it's kind of like they learn more and more throughout the book, and then you know what their thoughts are, and then their process and how they do it, and then what they end up doing at the end.
That's definitely, It's one of the most valuable things about novels is the development of the characters. So you're talking about character development. He became a better man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really enjoyable to read when someone becomes a better person. Like I'm in the middle of Anna Karenina again, going to teach it this fall, and it's the opposite experience. It's the degradation of an individual, and it's really...
Oh, kind of like Lord of the Flies?
Yes, there's a parallel story. There's actually, Levin becomes a better person while Anna becomes a worse person. And, yeah, so that's sad to watch, but valuable to watch. It's, you know, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Oscar Wilde's book.
The Mirror one? Or the one where he falls
Picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah. So anyway, development of the character for good or for ill. This is one where the character becomes a better person, but his wife doesn't. And the marriage doesn't last. You could talk about that.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, because in like some books like this, it's like where the person is just like the same level as another person, and then throughout the book the one person gets like better and the other person just stays, and then it ends up that they like clash so much that they just have to separate, and it's really sad to see that.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty. I think those are all our thoughts. Not a very long book, and the language is really simple and easy to read.
Yeah, it is.
Mine's only 150 pages, so it's a quick read. It's a great discussion starter, especially if you really want to hit it hard with some great discussion on books and reading and the importance and literacy and society and how it's tied into government and all that kind of good stuff. Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. See you next time.